Today, I'm going to talk about learning resources for seniors. I am Hewie Poplock. You can reach me at the email address that's there, and I also have a couple of websites. And I'm glad to be here to the Tucson Computer Society. When I retired, this is what I thought retirement was going to be all about. You know, as you get older, you're looking forward to being old and retire and just party it up, right? Well, you know what? It didn't turn out to be that way. Amongst the fact that you have aches and pains and doctor's appointments, it's a full-time job just keeping track of doctor's appointments and medicines you have to take. But I found myself speaking to senior groups all over the country via Zoom and other ways, but I also have spoken to groups live back when we could. And here's a picture of me speaking to a senior group at the University of Central Florida in Orlando. When I put this together, it was pre-COVID, but there are so many things for seniors to help us continue learning and to keep our minds occupied. I got involved, as you saw, that I was presenting to a group that I belong to called LIFE, the Learning Institute for Elders. But it's lifelong learning, and I think it's very important for us as seniors to participate in that, to keep our minds active. And so what I'm going to talk about are just so many aspects of it that are out there, but also with the days of COVID now, where we're spending more time at home, we have more time to do some things, would be a good opportunity to avail ourselves and look at some of these resources that are out there. So the first one I'm going to talk about today is a group called Tech Boomers. It's a website. You can access 100 plus free courses. Their course directory includes such things as social network, shopping online, online entertainment, useful websites and apps, and technology basics. They have over 100 free courses with thousands of step-by-step tutorials. It's aimed at seniors that aren't experienced with a lot of these things, that are new to it. And what we're finding is, of course, that a lot of seniors are afraid of computers or are afraid of social media, and they don't quite know how to get into it, where the younger people, it's a part of their lives. So if you want to learn some things about, you know, what is Instagram, what is Facebook and how to use it, or if you have relatives that need to know this, where you don't have to take the time to do it, you can steer them to a site like Tech Boomers to learn these things that are geared towards them, towards beginners, to learn how to use the social media and the other items that are listed there. Here are some of their types of courses they have. eHarmony, you know, a lot of seniors like the online dating. The FaceTime, Flickr, Foursquare, Goodreads, Google Voice, Hangouts, and so on are all items that they do training on, and it's very, very well done. And here's some more things that they do, 4 reasons why your Wi-Fi is slower than it should be. And then there's some free courses in LinkedIn and Twitter and Gmail, WhatsApp, and Kik. And here's typical what one of their courses is like. This one is how to use Gmail. And you can see that there are several parts to the learning process, several chapters that you go through. So it's not all one great big setting. It's several smaller ones. Another place where learning is available for us as seniors is Coursera. And Coursera has courses. They have they collaborate with 200 plus leading universities and companies. You can earn a degree through them. You can take classes. Some are free, some aren't. There's 3,900 plus courses and specializations, 13 plus professional certificates, 20 degrees and master track certificates. You can find flexible and affordable options. You can choose from many options, including free courses and university degrees at a breakthrough price. You learn at your own pace, 100% online. Here are some examples of a few of the courses. Even Arizona State University has a class on Coursera. And here's some more examples of some courses that you can take using this website. The science of well-being, financial markets. So you can see it's well-rounded. It's not just computer things. Udemy is another place to take courses. Learn on your own schedule, study any topic, anytime, explore thousands of courses. They start on this website at $12.99 each, so they're not free, but they're very well done and they're very well known for it. They have over 130,000 online video courses with new editions published every month. And again, here's some of their free, they do have some free courses. And so there's blender recipes, types of health insurance, make your agile team faster and more productive, build your first website in 1 week with HTML5 and CSS3. So some are technology, but not all of them. And again, if you go ahead and key down to one of them, here's one for blender recipes, 19 amazing recipes for your blender. It's free. You can discover what your blender is capable of, make amazing foods and drinks, and impress your friends. And it's a course you enroll and you take it and it's free. And here's some of the categories that Udemy has: design, development, marketing, IT and software, personal development, business, photography, and music. And again, featured topics by category and how many students over the years that they've had. And here are some more courses that are not free and about what they cost. So you're looking at $15 to $20, Premiere Pro, CC for beginner, the iPhone photography, and so on, at a reasonable amount. Some of you are familiar with Jim and Chris Gould. They're geeks on tour. They visit a lot of a lot of user groups around the country, and they're now doing a lot of virtual meetings for groups. If you haven't had them, you should. And if you have had them, you understand what I'm saying. They're very, very well done. Their meetings are good. Their presentations are good. Their website is great. They have a ton of tutorials and YouTube videos, and some of it's free. Some, if you join them for, I think it's $10 or $15 a month, it's well worth the money. And they have lots and lots of help, information, Snapseed on Google Photos. And speaking of Google Photos, Chris is a platinum level expert with Google Photos. She's written a book that her third edition was just released in the last month or two, and it's available online. It's available from them. And I have the book. It's a great book. It's very, very well done. She also has a website in which she updates the information about Google Photos as they change. There's some articles, some things that are in that new edition. New editor for Google Photos, Android, updates to Google Photos. So these are some of the presentations that she has and has done. You may also be familiar with Abby Stokes. She speaks to many user groups around the country, and she has been an advocate for technology for seniors for years when she was teaching her mother how to use a computer. And she's written a book on Is This Thing On? and she speaks to groups, and she has some really good videos on her website and some really good information in her book and on the website as well. And that's the book. You can get it from Amazon, and you might be able to get it from her as well. Here's an example of one of the pages. My favorite technology training is lynda.com. It's not cheap. In fact, it's expensive enough for Microsoft to have bought the company. And they have now blended it into their LinkedIn, and they call it LinkedIn Learning. I'm going to talk a little bit more about lynda.com because a lot of libraries have it available. And your library system, I meant to check that today when I was looking over the library system, and I got distracted, and I never did check. So I know my library system here recently picked it up. I know there are several other library systems in the Orlando area and some other places that do offer that lynda.com as a service as part of your library card. And I also know that some user groups have subscribed to it and make it available to their members. It's not, again, it's not cheap. It's not a cheap service to begin with, but their quality of video presentations and training are fantastic. Their rate is about $30 a month on a monthly basis, or $25 a month if you pay by the year. So as I said, it's not cheap, but there's an unlimited library access, and they have over 16,000 courses. They have certificates of completion, and you can take the classes as you want, and they do have a 31-day free trial. Another place to get lots of information and to be able to avail yourself of their services via the internet while we're in the COVID situation is your local library. And here's the Pima County Library System. And they are open, although they do have some limited services, but they do have an e-library, free online resources you can get by format: ebooks, audiobooks, movies and TV, music, magazines, and newspapers, and learning, test prep, and tutoring. So these are available through your own library system. So if you're a member of the library, you can use it. And if you're not, you can become a member. Another place for learning is Paul Thurrott. If you're not familiar with Paul and Mary Foley do a podcast every week called This Week in Windows. And they do that on the Twit network, the This Week in Technology from Leo Laporte. If you're not familiar with that, there's some great podcasts. I listen to them all the time, either to help me sleep at night, or if I'm in my car, I'll run it through my Amazon Auto version of their Miss A, and I'm able to listen to podcasts through the internet, and Paul Thurrott's one that I like to listen to. But he also wrote a manual called Introducing Windows 10 Field Guide. What's unique about that is he keeps updating it as Windows 10 updates. And what he does is he allows you to buy the book electronically for as little as $10. And it tells you how much he earns when you buy it at that price. And if you can afford it and want to, you can pay a little bit more. He gets a little bit more. But let's see, I went too far here. But what he does is what I continually am getting notes from the place where he produces the book online, saying that there's an updated version and it's free. And so I've had it for 4 or 5 years now, ever since Windows 10 first came out, and he keeps updating it as the versions change. An excellent reference for Windows 10, and because it's digital, you can search within it as well. It's by Paul Thurrott, Rafael Rivera, and Martin McLean. But Paul Thurrott's been putting together Windows guides going back, I know, to at least Windows 95. Another place to get information is YouTube. If you aren't using YouTube on a regular basis, you should. Whether you watch it on TV, you watch it on your computer, whatever, it's just amazing the amount of information you can get. And all you have to do, instead of Googling something, go to YouTube and YouTube it. And you'll find all kinds of information. As some examples, here's my channel. And I'm doing something on the Starlink report on a regular basis. And a lot of the presentations that I do are either on my channel or on a couple other channels, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Another one is the Central Florida Computer Society. I maintain their channel, and that's where I place most of my Windows SIG meeting recordings, as well as their Tech SIG and other SIG meetings, and their main meetings when they record them. Okay, on YouTube, I asked a question: how do you hang a picture on the wall? There were about 58,500 results of videos on how to hang a picture. Excellent. You can find anywhere from a few minutes to a lot of minutes. You can find some that are very well done and some are very poorly done, but you have a chance to take a look at them and you can see how many times they viewed, and you, in most cases, can tell if people rated them, what the ratings were. Another one is, okay, how do you remove a broken light bulb? 39,000 results. There are a lot of different ways, but it boils down to there's probably only a handful of them that work, that people use, but everybody's written some kind of and produced some kind of a video on it. Why do Chihuahuas lick people? 2,240 results. Keep squirrels off the bird feeder. We were having problems with squirrels getting onto our bird feeder and either knocking down all of the bird seed and then eating it off the ground, or just eating it right from the bird feeder, and the birds didn't get any of it. Well, there's almost 7,500 ways to try to curtail them from doing it, and I've used a lot of them, and we finally found some successful ones. At one time, I owned a Triumph TR3, and I said, gee, I wonder if somebody still maintains them, and I wonder if there's something out there that if I still had one, whether I could get videos on repairing them. Yep, almost 2,000, 1,890 results on videos on repairing a Triumph TR3 sports car. Switching gears a little bit, another place to really sink your teeth into some really heavy-duty ideas and thoughts and so on is TED. If you have never listened to a TED speech, they're generally about generally around 15 minutes, and sometimes a little bit longer, some usually a little bit shorter, but they're experts in various fields, and these people just get up there and talk for 10 or 15 minutes, and it's every one of them I've ever heard has been very interesting and very well done. So if you've ever have a chance to listen to one of the TED Talks, take a listen, and you'll find it. You're going to want to go searching for some other ideas and some other speakers. There's another website called reference.com. It speaks for itself. It's a reference website. And of course, a lot of us who are seniors love to find out what the ailment is that we have because of a pain or something we can't do, or because somebody says something about it. We can look it up and find out and get a name and put a name to it. And WebMD is an excellent website for that. A lot of universities have online classes. Some of them are free. And Stanford Online is one that I just listed here. Here's a few of their classes that are online in most cases for free, and you can sit in on those classes. And here's an example. They are live classes, so it's not a recording, so you join the class, and so you have to enroll and you have to attend the classes. The Khan Academy. For every student, every classroom, they're a nonprofit with a mission to provide free world-class education for anyone, anywhere. And so Khan, you can sign in as a learner or a teacher or a parent, and you can get all kinds of courses from Khan. There's some examples. Math for pre-K through 8th grade, math for get ready courses. You can see there's science, arts and humanity, all kinds of information from Khan Academy. This website is not free. It's called the Great Courses Plus. They do have a free trial and you can explore some courses, but they have topics in economics and finance. I'm not going to read all of them to you, but you can see that they have a wide variety of courses and classes. They start at about $20 a month. For this price, you get access to everything in the catalog and can stream content to any supported device. In addition to its website, you can access Great Course Plus's lessons on Android phones, iPhones and iPads, Apple TVs, Rokus, Fire TVs, and Kindles. And again, here are some of their topics under hobby and leisure. Fundamentals of a DSLR filmmaking, Adobe Lightroom, Adobe Photoshop, how to sing, view and appreciate great movies. So it's a wide variety of information. Another website that I really like is called Lifehacker. And every day you can go to them and they'll have different videos and tutorials that are very well done. A lot of them are only one sheet, very quick read, but some very interesting things at lifehacker.com. Tech 911. How can I find out if my partner is interacting with cam girls? How do I unlock my Android phone if the screen is shattered? How can I wirelessly access my Android from my PC? And so on. So some very good articles in their Tech 911 area. Meetups were a great thing before we all got kind of locked in our houses. But a lot of the meetups now are listing available online meetups. And so you just put in the area. I didn't update this to your area today. I probably should have. This one was, I did this presentation to a group in Glendora, California. And so I just typed in Glendora and it came back with some of the meetups that are in that area. You can put in Tucson and the events in your area will pop up. As I mentioned, I was a member of LIFE, which is the Learning Institute for Elders at UCF at the University of Central Florida in Orlando. We used to have 300 members attend every week for 2 classes in a row. Some of these learning institutes and some of these elder lifelong learning groups that are out there, they do it in different ways. This group happened to have one big meeting and a presentation to each of the for each of the 2 meetings. Other ones break off into individual classes and classrooms, and you join a class and you go to that one, and there might be something else going on at the same time you might want to visit as well. So they all work a little bit differently depending upon the university in your area and the people who run it. Another place where you can get information in your area is the Pima Community College and the University of Arizona. They both have online classes. They do have online classes. I was doing some research. A lot of the states and these, especially in the state universities and the community colleges and so on, they allow seniors to go to sit in on classes for free. You may have to check on that, because what I could see, like in one of these, it said 50% off tuition classes, but there may be some classes that you can audit, and I'm sorry, not tuition, but where you're working towards a degree. But if you're not working towards a degree, in a lot of the states, as a senior or over 55 in most areas, you can audit classes. And since they're all on, all of them or a lot of them are online now, that shouldn't make a big difference for them. And they may allow you, you'll have to check with both of those educational homes, the community college and the university, to see if they do allow that and do have that for you. The Bernard Osher Foundation is another one of those lifelong learning groups, but they are national and they're all over the country. And here are some examples of some of the colleges that they cover. And you can go to their website and usually see a whole list of them. But I guess because of the times that we're in, they no longer are meeting. So the list of institutes have are not online. I couldn't find a new list to find out what was available. But Arizona State University is one of those that had an OLLI group or an OSHA group. But I did find this, where in Arizona, you've got several schools, and you will see the University of Arizona in Tucson, and it's olli.arizona.edu. And you can find out if they're meeting online or what they're doing, and see if that's available for you. The Senior Learning Network is another place where you can get information and help. And this, I don't believe, is free. It isn't. And but here is a schedule from October. I didn't check today to see if they're still doing programs, if they're doing them online or not. You might want to check and see what they're doing. Local senior centers are a good place to get either help for yourself or recommend help for other people to keep busy, to learn how to do things. A lot of them do arts and crafts. They take trips. They do card and board games. But again, in these time periods, a lot of them aren't doing any of these things. But you should be aware of the fact that when we can get back out and socialize personally with people, that this might be something you might want to look into or advise people to look into. Senior education in Tucson, you got as I mentioned earlier, you got your community college and you got the University of Arizona. Classes for seniors. Some colleges offer continuing education classes, especially for adults 50 and older. These courses typically last a few weeks instead of an entire semester, and is traditional undergrad classes and adult classes. Andrew Kale, an assistant professor at George Mason University, presents similar information, but leaves more time for questions and discussions with older students. When I talk to a group of retirees, hands will be going up all over the place concurrent with the presentation. You don't see that quite as much from undergraduates or even graduate students, he says. There's also, here's some more information on the Osher Lifelong Learning. Many well-known universities such as MIT, Stanford, and Yale allow anyone to audit select courses online free of charge. For example, seniors age 65 and older in North Carolina can take public university courses in person, online, or through correspondence for credit without paying tuition. The online courses are pretty neat because you don't have to leave the house. and so on. Shy students may be more likely to participate in online courses. Sometimes students are kind of hesitant to open their mouths and afraid to look foolish in class, but online, you get time to think about it before you respond. There are some hidden costs. You have to be careful if you take any of these courses, because even if you qualify for free tuition and watch out for fees, you'll still have to pay for things like books. And maybe if you're going to the university, parking, which is very difficult to find. Most of the universities, all of their parking lots are full, and you'd have to do some walking. Many traditional courses also have online components. And so some senior citizens can do college for free or cheap in all 50 states. And there's a website. And by the way, I have sent to Francis, and he's going to post 2 files. One of them is the PDF of all my slides, and the other one is a PDF with a good many of the links of the articles that I use to put this together, including the Penny Hoarder, where you can find information about free college courses for senior citizens. And then a senior citizen guide for college. And I clicked on Arizona, and there wasn't much there. There's not a lot in your state that for seniors, but in some states there are. Also, user groups are very important, and a lot of the user groups have now opened up their meetings and their presentations to members of any user group and people who aren't even members of user groups. The one I belong to, the Central Florida Computer Society, I do a Windows Special Interest group on the second Sunday of every month at 1:30 Eastern time, once a month, and it's all on Windows, and all of those are available. Recordings of them are all online, and you can go back. I've got either notes on them or recordings going back to 2008. And such groups as the Tucson Computer Society are a good place to learn and to compare notes and get help. APCUG is an association of user groups from all over the country and actually over the world, because it does include, there are member groups in Canada and in Australia. And their website usually has a lot of great information. Plus, I know Francis is a speaker for the Speakers Bureau from APCUG, as I am. And there are many others that are very good and knowledgeable people that will speak to your group from APCUG. And your club, as a member of APCUG, can have them, can ask them to do presentations. As I mentioned, I have a website. It's called Hewie's Views and Reviews. And I also have, that's where I maintain my Windows SIG meeting notes and information. And it's hewie.net, HEWIE.net. And I do have a mailing list, which I explain what happened the last meeting and where you can see the recording and the upcoming meeting and what items I'm going to cover, and usually an article of some kind. I only send it out once a month. Please subscribe to it on my website. And then, of course, on that website are the Windows SIG meeting notes. Here's an example of October's meeting notes. And these all have links to articles in which I talk about during the meeting. And at the end of the meeting, at the end of that page, you can click on the video of that meeting and watch the meeting live with my presentations, as well as discussions with members of that are online with me. I also am an evangelist for Chromebooks, and I do have a website called Chromebooks for Seniors, cb4s.net. And I am a co-host of Tech for Seniors, hosted by Ron Brown and myself. And we feature Bob G., which I'm sure you're familiar with. The president of APCUG is Ray Baxter, and he is a music aficionado and has a lot of a good trivia information and talks about music at the end of our meetings each time. And then we have the streaming senior, Dewey Cluse, who's in his late 80s and does a presentation every week for us as well. And that's techforsenior.com for more information. There's no S. The S was taken, so we just did it with no S. But the show is Tech for Seniors. The website is Tech for Senior. And then Ron and I also have started a monthly Learning Chromebooks meeting on the third Thursday of every month at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time. You do have to register for those meetings, and you can do it at the address that's listed there. Or you can go to the Tech for Senior website and you can register. There is a link to register for the Chromebooks. And then also you can sign up for the Tech for Senior newsletter, which is a twice a week newsletter, which is usually a couple of articles plus links to our recent meetings. And do you have any additional resources or comments? I'll open it up, stop the sharing. I hope you got something out of that. And any comments or questions? And a lot of us who are members of user groups tend to be knowledge hungry anyway. So a lot of us participate in enough things that we probably don't want to take on more. But we certainly know a lot of people who are playing solitaire all day long or are watching movies on TV and just are not using their minds and are not discussing things and talking about things. And I think that there's a lot of places where they can go very easily and get the kind of information and help that they might be it might be of interest to them.
Hi there. There are many different types of Chromebooks. Do you have any ideas on what's appropriate? Because you can spend from $250 up to $1,000 on one.
You can go to almost $2,000. Some of the Google ones, some of the Pixel books are in the $1,500 to $1,800 range. I do recommend staying away from the 2 gigabyte memory. If you're going to get one that has 4 gigabytes. Yeah. As far as storage goes, you can get the cheaper ones with 16 gigabytes of storage, but you're also storing the operating system in that as well. So I do recommend 32. 64 is better. 128 is even better than that. I prefer a touch screen. I think it's very important to have it, but some people don't need it, don't want it. I do like a backlit keyboard because I have to look at the keyboard to type. And if it's dark, it's difficult. So I like that. That was one thing I looked for. Almost all of them have cameras and microphones in them. The better ones have a better microphone and camera. And they come in sizes from 10.2 inches up to 14, almost 15 inches the screens, and the resolutions are accordingly too. So if you want 1920 by 1084, then you're going to probably go for 14 or 14-inch screen at least, and if there's some 15. One of the things that's really great about all of the Chromebooks is the fact that the batteries will last a minimum of 8 hours. Most of them, they're in the 10-hour range, and some of the newer ones are even in 12 and more hours per charge, which makes them a really good computer if you're going to be using it all day long and you don't have a chance to charge it.
Hewie, this is Robert Thompson. I want to thank you very much for following on with Francis here.
You're welcome. I'm glad to have done it. Glad I could have the chance to do it.
Yeah.
So newer Chromebooks tend to have USB-C on them. I think, they may have one of the older style.
Yeah, different models will have different plugs on them. The USB-C is good because you can get an adapter and then plug in USB 2 and 3 into them, and they work fine. I have one, so I can get 2 or 3 USB items plugged in, even though I only have one US. It has 2 USB-C connectors, but one of them is for the power cord. But by putting the extender on it, I can have HTML, I can have USB 2, 3, and C off of it. I can do several other things with it, but I also sometimes I do recommend having an HTML port on a Chromebook. If when you're buying one, if it has one, that's a plus. But remember, it's HTML out, not in. You can't plug in a Roku into it, for instance, but you can connect it to a large screen TV, and whatever you're doing on your Chromebook, you can be watching on a 32, 48, 65-inch screen if you want.
Is it possible to view Netflix yet or not on a Chromebook?
I'm trying to I don't subscribe to Netflix. I don't know whether the app works or not, because in some cases they haven't ported the Android apps to a larger screen. They're geared for the small phone screens. But if not, you can go to the website and view and sign in and view anything through the websites. I do watch a lot of TV on mine. I do have I use YouTube TV. I've cut the cord, so all of my TV at home is all through the internet, and so I can watch almost everything and just by signing into that same account on my Chromebook.
Which do you recommend services for free TV? I've heard of several, and some of them you used to think would be a kind of under the water, so to speak.
Some of them are free. Some have a paid upgrade. I have a Roku box, but I have a Roku TV, so I don't need an extra box, and so I don't have to subscribe to anything. And they have a lot of free services. That one of them, Pluto TV, has hundreds of channels. They may not be all the ones you're expecting, but there's something called Locast, Locast, that's available in some areas, and I believe Phoenix has it. I don't know if Tucson does have it available, but it is just like putting an antenna outside your house that's powerful enough to pick every local station up with good quality. It is considered free, but they put in ads every 5 minutes, and every 10 or 15 minutes you got to sign back in. So for $5 a month, you get all of it for free without that bother. So I pay the $5 a month. It is available in the Tampa Bay area, which I'm considered. And so I get all of the Tampa area TV stations, including the PBS stations and so on, of really good quality. The Sarasota TV station, and so it's 40 or 50 channels I can pick up through Locast. That just as if I put a giant antenna up, because I'm about probably 40 miles from most of the towers in Tampa from where I live. So the quality, putting one of those even one of the powered units that you put in your window, I only got a handful of stations, where now with Locast, I get them all. And then you can put an outside antenna up with any of them. The problem with putting an outside antenna up is the fact that if you got more than one TV, you're going to have a splitter and split off the signal and work it that way. And if you have several TVs, then you're splitting that signal down quite a bit. Boy, I went quite a distance from the Netflix on a Chromebook, didn't I, on that one?
Yeah, we're real glad that we could get Hewie today. We're having a little bit of a problem coordinating between members of the board. So that our operator sent in the request, and then somehow or other between him and a couple of the others, Hewie never got a confirmation. But Hewie confirmed a bunch of times. He's very good. He's very reliable on things like that. And so it's the problem was on our end. So hopefully we can solve some of that next year. So we'll find out. And I think we're having such a low turnout between the Windows hardware SIG and the general meeting. I think I'd like to merge them. And I provided to go from push to shove. I'm going to refuse to do the Windows hardware SIG next month unless it's part of the general meeting for the rest of the next year. So we'll find out how if that merges the two meetings into one bigger meeting. Next year, if I get to speak again, in spite of all the trouble I'm causing, I'm hoping to demonstrate more use of routers and cell phones as alternate internet source suppliers. We're getting a lot of, as you probably know, we're getting a lot of fires and power outages and internet outages here in California. So I've got myself pretty much set up to where I always have a cell phone as a backup internet source. So I've yet to drop out of a meeting. And so several people have started meetings and didn't survive the whole meeting as presenters. So I'm trying to make sure that doesn't happen to me with a pile of UPS systems and backup internet source.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the results of the Starlink from Elon Musk and the Jeff Bezos low orbiting satellite system that he's going to have. And there's a third company. So there's going to be a lot of that new in the next few years. And with 5G starting to develop and maybe become an actuality in the next few years, it's going to be interesting to see the shakeout and things changing as far as how we connect to the internet.
Sorry, Claudia.
I think we're going to see a lot of changes in that, and I think for the better. And I think the rates that the cable companies are charging are going to change because they're going to have more competition.